Hello YouTube, Salivate Metal here with the story sent to us by Colonic Stacker. This is a quite interesting piece from the DailyMail.com about a recluse that lived in Nevada whose fortune was essentially auctioned off to be paid for taxes. And it's quite a fascinating story indeed. And it's kind of a shame that it wasn't a better accounting and a better way that this could ended up, but essentially it all, half of it went away. So half of Nevada's recluse $7 million gold fortune discovered in his garage after he died will be auctioned off to pay his taxes. So Walter Samazko Jr. died in his Carson City home last June. Profits from nearly half of 135 pounds of gold coins, 135 pounds, found after his death to go towards $800,000 in government estate taxes and fees. Remaining profits to go to the sole heir, a substitute teacher in California. Wow, I bet she's going to be loving life. So the story goes that even though he lived in the same quiet neighborhood for decades, no one seemed to know of 69-year-old Walter Samazko Jr., of his amazing fortune worth millions piled quietly away in his garage. Mr. Samazko, as well as his secret, were so unknown that weeks passed before authorities discovered he had even died in May. Today, half of the 135 pounds of gold coins discovered weeks after his death inside the Carson City, Nevada home will be auctioned off in a city courtroom. And this was from back in 2013 when the story aired, so I hadn't heard anything about it. I think I may have heard some brief mention of it in the news as a short headline, but really didn't see the aspect of it. But the fortune is expected to net about $3 million, and some of it will go to $800,000 of government and state taxes and fees. The obvious profits from many sales beyond that amount will go to Samazko's first cousin and sole heir, Arlene Magdans, a substitute teacher in San Rafael, California, who hadn't spoken to him in at least a year. When a cleanup crew was sent to the property, it was only then that the multi-million-dollar stash tucked away inside old ammunition boxes was discovered. Authorities say it took an exhaustive search to locate Miss Magdans, whose first words upon hearing of the inheritance in September were, oh my God," according to her attorney. Nearly half of 135 pounds of gold discovered in Nevada's home garage will be auctioned off, and there's the home. Relatively modest home considering the riches he had. And then here we have a picture of his first cousin there. The auction will include only the bullion coin collection, not the collector's edition coin, said Alan Glover, Carson City's clerk recorder, who will oversee the auction. They're buying and bidding on an ounce of gold, pure gold by the weight, Glover said. The bidders are all professional coin collectors who regularly make purchases ranging from $3 million to $10 million, he added. Coins have been grouped into 11 sets based on type, and the sets have been weighed by the ounce. The collections range from 24.1 troy ounces to 602 troy ounces. In total, about 135 pounds of gold is to be sold at auction, which Glover said is expected to net about $3 million. Another auction for the larger half of the collection is likely later. Officials discovered that the trove, neatly wrapped and stored, mostly in ammunition boxes, stacked on top of each other. There were more than 2,900 Austrian coins, many from 1915. I think we know which ones they're talking about, probably those little 1 ducat pieces. More than 5,000 from Mexico, at least 500 from Britain, 300 U.S. gold pieces, and some dating to 1880, and more than 100 U.S. gold pieces as old as the 1890s. So there we see an example, and where the $20 U.S. gold coins purchases from. A lot of Mr. Semenko's wealth was from these $20 double eagle gold coins. You saw one that I had that was slabbed. I'm sure it wasn't from this collection, but quite interesting indeed. That probably added a little bit to the influx of those coming from Europe. Maybe some came from Nevada too. And So we have a British sovereign here from Queen Victoria. Among the coins were meticulous records of the purchase dating back to at least 1964, when gold averaged about $35 per ounce. The precious metal currently sells for nearly $1,600 an ounce, and that was in 2013. It's much less than that now. Authorities believe that his mother, who lived with Semensko until her death in 1992, purchased most of the coins. Wow. They're most likely taking money out of their stock accounts and buying gold with it, Mr. Glover said. Despite the millions of dollars in his garage, Mr. Semensko didn't appear to lead a luxurious life. Records show he only withdrew about $500 a month to pay modest bills. He died with $1,200 in a checking account and just a bit more than $165,000 in a money market and a mutual fund account. Since learning of her inheritance, Magdans has shunned publicly and not made any comments about the fortune. Wise move, very smart lady. Glover had died from heart problems, a coroner found, at least 1 month before he was discovered. Leaving no will and with no known relatives, officials set down about tracking down a list of people who had attended Semensko's mother's funeral after she died in 92, the Vegas Sun reported. She had not spoken to her cousin for a year. Other things found by the anti-government pensioners' home included a stash of conspiracy theory books and several guns, Mr. Glover said. He rarely went out and never went to a doctor. Semensko had lived in the house since the 1960s. Records show that he hadn't held down a steady job since 1968. His mother also lived there until her death in 92. I've never had a case like this, and not in this amount, Mr. Glover said thoughtfully, and had some definitive survival tendencies. So very interesting indeed. So there it is. You can't take it with you, but it will be passed along to another generation. He had an heir, apparently, a first cousin, so who will get the proceeds from this, or the coins themselves, who knows? It's because they didn't say they were going to auction the more collectible coins. So we shall see how it probably all did play out already, since this was from 2013, but very interesting, and thank you again, Colonic Stacker, for sending it along. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.